Hello, I am Rocky Reed, and this is,
Alicia Allison.
and we're here to talk to you about readings 10, The Five Sexes Revisited, pages 120 through 127, and reading 11, Ain't I a Woman, pages 128 through 143. We're going to talk to you about what we got from the reading and things that we found interesting. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, you can hit it on the discussion.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about reading 10, The Five Sexes Revisited. And here, one thing we noticed on page 121 is that they talk about the five different sexes. So they talk about how there's more than just males and females. They said that in that article, I argued that the two-sex system embedded in our society is not adequate to encompass the full spectrum of human sexuality. So basically, she suggested that there be herms, firms, merms, as well as males and females. And do you want me to describe what a herm is? Okay.
Yeah.
So a herm would be a true hermaphrodite, people born with both testes and an ovary. Merms would be people who are born with testes and some aspect of female genitalia. And firms would be people who have ovaries combined with some aspect of male genitalia. Personally, I think that this may be a good thing. I mean, maybe being able to, I think as a society we like to label things, and being able to distinctly describe what you are would help people further in life when it comes to their sex reassignment and give more detail and stuff like that. So what do you think?
I think it's kind of like you said, it evens people out, but way better than we're doing now, or we did before. We have a wider variety of different types of genders and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then also on page 121 it talks about how different people are seeing it different ways. Like white ring Christians are outraged, whereas others are delighted because they are going past the two-sex system that we look at now in the world. Also, now, who is an intersexual? On page 122, the concept of intersexuality is rooted in the very ideas of male and female. In the idealization Platonic biological world, human beings are divided into two kinds: a perfectly dimorphic species. Males have an X and Y chromosome, testes, a penis, or all the appropriate internal plumbing for delivering urine and semen to the outside world. And women have two X chromosome ovaries and all the internal plumbing to transport urine and ovary to the outside world, a system to support pregnancy and fertile development, as well as a variety of recognizable secondary sexual characteristics.
Okay, and it says how those that are born outside of the Platonic dimorphic mode are called intersexuals. And we read that a group of Brown University's undergraduates, they calculated that out of every 1,000 children born, 17 are intersexual in some form. That number is 1.7%. Dang, I forgot what to say.
It's okay. I mean, basically, we're just saying that there is a small percentage of these people that are intersexual, but we can't count them out because they are there, and that we need to realize that it's not just males and females. It just doesn't come down to X and Y chromosome and X and X chromosome. So, but we live in a world where that we just see those two things. If you're not that, you're something different.
Which is sad.
Yeah, definitely. Because I think that we're more than just our appearance. Just when it comes to race and ethnicity, you might see our race, but it's more than just the outside appearance. More so what we do, our customs and our beliefs and things like that. And I believe that's also what it is when it comes to gender and sex. You can't always define somebody by their sex when they're more to them. Like there's also their gender aspect. So yeah. Anything else you want to say?
It says here that on page 123, intersexuality has been to some extent a matter of a definition. Only physicians have been the ones to define children as intersexuals.
I guess later on in the page it talks about like a case between John and Joanne. So basically it talks about how through surgery a boy that was named John became Joanne because they let me see if I can find it. It was an accident between circumcision, and John had to become Joanne because of that. And Joanne grew up, you know, wearing dresses and having her hair done, and like she basically accepted that she was now a female, so she was taught to be a female. And like I guess later on the page talk about how like later Joanne rejected her sex reassignment.
Dr. McCullough suggests that the process should be slower rather than on the spot, basically saying that the process should be like therapy instead of surgery. Going back to the John story, how he had a failed circumcision that made him Joanne. Later, she changed to David. So practitioners should be humble enough to let the child select what they want to be.
Yeah. Do you think that like this is a smart decision, or you think that like doctors or whatnot should just go ahead and decide once they're born?
I feel like it'll be a smart decision because it'll it'll probably make the situation better for kids now, how they're changing from guy to girl or girl to guy. So I think that it would be better if we just wait for the kid to select as they get older and learn more about it.
Yeah.
Instead of the parents just saying do whatever or whatever.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it would cause less confusion once the child grows up. They'll understand their body more and things like that. So I think this is probably a better way than to just jump to a quick decision, things like that. Also, transsexuals, people who have an emotional gender at odds with their physical sex, once describe themselves in terms as dimorphic absolutes, males trapped in female bodies, or vice versa. Earlier I said that David later married, but I was confusing the story with John, who became Jane, who later actually married. It says, sorry, let me just read it, that'd probably be easier. A male to female transsexual, for instance, may come out as lesbian. Jane, born as a physiological male, is now in her late 30s and living with her wife, whom she married when her name was still John. Jane takes hormones to feminize herself, but they have not yet interfered with her ability to engage in intercourse as a man. In her mind, Jane has a lesbian relationship with her wife, though she views their intimate moments as a cross between lesbian and heterosexual sex. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, what would you call it? I think exactly what she says. If she sees herself as a woman and she's with another woman, I guess that would be like a lesbian relationship, even though technically she's still a man according to the world. And I think that goes back to like sex and gender. Like she sees herself as a female, even though her physical sex is male. And I think that's why there's more to sex and gender than what the world sees it as. Also said it might seem natural to regard intersexuals and transgendered people as living midway between the poles of male and female, but male and female, masculine and feminine, cannot be perceived as some kind of continuum. it talks about how experts on gender development have distinguished between sex at the genetic level and at the cellular level, which is sex-specific gene expression X and Y chromosomes, at the hormonal level in the fetus during childhood and after puberty, and at the anatomical level, genitals and secondary sexual characteristics. A chromosomal, hormonal, and genital male or female may emerge with a female or male gender identity, or a chromosomal female with male fetal hormones and masculinized genitalia but with female pubertal hormones may develop a female gender identity, which makes sense. I mean, also, I think that's it for that page. On page 126 going into 127, it talks about how one way to like have a more gender diverse world is to eliminate the category of gender from official documents such as driver's license and passports, and because there's other ways to identify who a person is or what they are. And in the books it says like such as height, build, and eye color, and less visible as like fingerprints and genetic profiles would be more exact. So do you think that if we like eliminate gender from those documents, that'd be a good thing or a bad thing?
I feel like it'll be good because sometimes you can't tell if a person wants to be a man or a woman. So with that being deleted, you won't have to worry about calling anybody sir, ma'am, or anything like that.
That's true.
And it won't cause no type of drama.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And I also think that for those people that may physically be a man but sees himself as a female, that eliminates that confusion that they have to go through, or that like, you know, I guess that feeling of no, I'm a female even though my driver license says I'm a male. I feel like they shouldn't have to be like labeled, I guess, and more things. And I think that'd be a good thing if we just went to more things such as height and fingerprints and whatnot. And at the end it says that there are and will continue to be highly masculine people out there, and it's just that some of them are women, and some of the most feminine people I know happen to be men. So I think that just goes back to like, you know, sex and gender, in my opinion. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got from sections, pages 120 through 127. We're gonna go over these questions and how we interpret it, and yeah.